Good afternoon, and thank you all very much for joining us and to be here to hear about some potentially life-saving tips for staying cool in the extreme heat our city is facing and is going to continue to face over the coming days ahead. As you've heard in the national news, excessive heat warnings continue across the western part of our country. All of us, when we're out and about today, we can feel the oppressive heat. Our soon-to-be chief of the fire department, Brian O'Neill, just recently completed a marathon in Death Valley, and he said, appropriately so, that it is hotter to run here in Louisville than it was during that race. So in short, it is very, very hot, and we need to all be careful and move forward with extreme caution. And that's what we're here to talk about today as extreme heat continues to grow in Louisville today and coming into the weekend. We want to remind people of the steps we each need to take to get through this heat wave very safely. With the risks of heat exhaustion and heat stroke, these kinds of conditions account for one of the deadliest weather events, killing hundreds of people every year. And so it's critical to stay hydrated, to stay safe, to stay cool, and make sure those around you, including elderly neighbors and friends and relatives, are doing the same. But in extreme temperatures, you shouldn't just rely on fans as your sole cooling devices. You need to find places for air-conditioned breaks. And Louisville Metro government has several options to help you stay cool. We'll hear more about that in a moment. But first, we're going to call upon John Gordon from the National Weather Service to give us an update on the weather and the forecast for the days ahead.
People ask, well, how hot has it been? We've had 11 90-degree days so far. We normally average 40. Normally by the end of July, we have 23. We're actually going to end up July just a tad above normal. But this is kind of concerning today, especially tomorrow. Tomorrow's a nasty day, folks. If you don't need to be out in the deep afternoon, don't. We got today 91, 95. Right now at the airport, it's 91 degrees. We got a lot of clouds out there. I'm worried about storms this evening. If we get any sun the next 3-4 hours, there's to be some nasty storms. There's a lot of outdoor concerts and things. So it's a mixture of heat and storms. Now, tomorrow's unpleasant. Oh, at the airport, the problem at the airport is there's concrete everywhere. There's no grass. So we're going to probably hit 97. I could even hit 98. Most places in the metro will be about 95, 96 degrees. And I'm going to give you a bunch of safety tips along with the folks behind me. Never ever leave a pet or a kid in a car. We have this problem over and over and over. Look before you lock, check the back seat. Please, for God's sakes, don't leave your kids or pets in cars. Stay hydrated, limit strenuous activity. I really worry about folks that are insulators, people who are out in driveways with asphalt, roofers. It is not a good place to be. Find air conditioning, avoid some strenuous activities like the mayor said, wear lightweight clothing, agua, drink a lot of water. And don't ever leave. Even we've had problems with elder in hot cars. Don't leave anyone in a hot car, ever. So, what else to say? Whether you're pregnant, newborns, children, the elderly, our furry friends, beat the heat, check the back seat. Don't leave anyone in hot cars. Drink a lot of water and be prepared. It's here. It's hot out. It's very unpleasant. Higher moisture, higher dew points, and the heat indices are going up. When you have heat exhaustion, as you're going to hear from the folks in the medical community, you can have quick problems that can escalate to 911. So everything from light dizziness and thirst, take a break. Heavy sweating, you're feeling weak out there, take a break, get in the shade, drink some water, take a break. And if you don't, it escalates quickly to you're calling the 911 center. And you can have permanent disabilities. So when you're 97 tomorrow, remember this, take some breaks. Okay, so we got heat advisories out for today. That's basically along and west of Lexington down to Bowling Green. We'll probably close to 104-ish today. Clouds are problematic. If we break free through these clouds, we'll hit up close to 107, 108 for that. And dangerous heat. Watch yourself. Even the coaches who are watching this broadcast. Football practice. Drink a lot of water. Take breaks. I've seen too many examples. People want to go on these 20-mile hikes when it's this hot. Not a good plan, Stan. Okay, and Friday, tomorrow's really the bad day. I mean, tomorrow's the peak of this. It will cool down on Sunday, 104 to 110. Dangerous heat for everybody. And people are asking me, is it going to extend to Saturday? Possibly. We're going to have more chance of storms on Saturday as well. Just depends how the storms play out. If we get the storms earlier. We won't have that heat, but it'll still be heat indices 100 to 104 on Saturday. So all I can tell you, folks, is people say how hot it is. It's so hot I got some bread at Kroger that it was toast when I got home. So seriously, have a plan and drink a lot of water, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, John. I appreciate that very much, and certainly we should all keep ourselves humored. That's one way to just drill home how serious this really is. And you heard from what John was saying, the serious heat that is particularly going to be here tomorrow. And so we're going to hear a little bit more from Dr. Patton in a second about, but first let me tell you about some of the city cooling resources for those who might need to be finding a place to stay cool. We have 8 neighborhood place locations throughout Louisville that will be serving as cooling release centers for those who need to get out of the heat. To find the nearest location, you can call our Metro call at 311 or 574-5000 or visit louisvilleky.gov/neighborhoodplace. To learn a lot about what I'm going to talk about here on all these resources that the city provides, feel free to call 311 and ask questions about the nearest location that we're going to be talking about. For example, Louisville Metro Parks and Recreation. We have 14 community centers that are open throughout the entire city. Those will be open as cooling centers during regular hours. To find the community center closest to you or what their hours are, you can call 311 and they can tell you. Some of the community centers partner with Dare to Care Food Bank to offer kids' cafe programs or free evening meals to children under 18. And so again, you can call 311 to find out more about that, as you can on the Louisville Metro Senior Nutrition Program, which operates in 14 senior congregate sites around our city for seniors 60 and older, provides a nutritious lunchtime meal in an air-conditioned location. And also, we need to mention that all 17 of our Louisville Free Public Library branches throughout the entire city are open. They're operating at regular hours, and those too can be used as cooling centers. So we have 17 amazing Louisville Free Public Library branches around the city. And again, in our press release for the media, all of the information will be in there, but also to anyone across the city, feel free to call 311 to ask about where the nearest cooling center location is from you. So next, from Norton Healthcare, we're going to hear from Dr. Stephen Patton, who's going to share with us some of the dangers that heat can pose and what people can and should do to stay safe during these extreme heat conditions.
Hi, my name is Dr. Stephen Patton. I am with Norton Healthcare. I am also a family medicine and urgent care practitioner and one of the medical directors for community outreach. In these times of extreme heat, it is vital that we come up with a plan to stay cool throughout the day. I think it is also particularly important to understand the differences between heat stroke and heat exhaustion, as this can save your life or those around you. We will start with heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion is the body's attempt to regulate its temperature. So you're going to see increased sweating, and because the body is pulling a lot of fluids out of its blood vessels, you're going to get a lower blood pressure. The lower blood pressure can cause lightheadedness, nausea, or even vomiting. And also you're going to be losing a lot of electrolytes, so you can see a lot of muscle aches and fatigue because of that. The best way to treat heat exhaustion is to get out of the heat, find shade, find air condition, and drink plenty of fluids. Even if you're not thirsty, make sure you stay hydrated and take plenty of breaks. The next is heat stroke. Now, heat stroke is after the body has failed to regulate. So during this time, as a last-ditch effort, the body attempts to preserve the brain. So a lot of blood is going to go to the brain now. So that's going to cause decreased sweating. So the skin may be dry, hot, and red. And because of that increased pressure, it can also cause confusion, headaches, and sometimes people can even black out. This is very important because if you see someone and you're worried about heat stroke, it is important to call 911 immediately, take them out of the heat. And ways to best treat that, you can put ice under their armpits and their groin area and their neck because that's high vascular area and can cool down the body quicker. And if you don't have that at your disposal, it is good to use water or a spray bottle and constantly fan them. The evaporation of the water will pull heat off the body and drastically lower their temperature in the meantime until EMS arrives. Something I wanted to note is if someone has heat stroke and you find them that way, it's very important that you get them to the hospital, because if you are left in that state for too long, it will break down the body's enzyme that it needs to function, which can cause organ damage. Also to note, because heat exhaustion and heat stroke are different than fever, please do not give any Tylenol or ibuprofen or any NSAIDs, because one, they will not help. Also, they can cause more damage to the liver, kidneys, and cause bleeding damage unnecessarily. People at increased risk, as stated before, but I will say it again, especially the young, because they have similar symptoms, but sometimes they can't communicate when they're being overheated. And the elderly, because they can't compensate well enough to deal with the heat, but also they're on other medications that can stop the body from adjusting so well. Once again, the best thing to do is really to stay hydrated throughout the day. Be aware of your symptoms. And remember, when you're staying hydrated, if there are any infants less than 6 months of age, they can't have water. So they're still drinking breast milk and formula. Other than that, drink plenty of fluids as you can, fresh fruits, Gatorades, things with high electrolytes, and be safe.
Thank you, Dr. Patton, and all of us will be available for questions here momentarily. But first, I want to share, thank Dr. Patton and share some of the ways that we're mobilizing to help the members of our community who are most vulnerable to the heat. So we have with us today from Louisville Metro Government's Homeless Service Division of Resilience and Community Services, John Pilbeam, who's going to speak a little bit about white flag and water drops and some other things the city is doing through his department to help ensure everybody can stay safe. John?
As the mayor said, my name is John Pilbeam with Homeless Services Division. Let's talk a little bit about White Flag. White Flag is the program that ensures individuals experiencing houselessness can find shelter during severe weather. The Coalition for the Homeless coordinates that event, that program, so we want to thank them for their hard work. Operation White Flag goes into effect when temperatures or the heat index reaches above 95 degrees. A white flag will fly at participating shelters during the Operation White Flag while that is in effect. Persons needing shelter can stay at participating white flag shelters while conditions persist. Wayside Christian Mission accepts cats, dogs, and that would be the place for families. Salvation Army Center is open for the day shelter. When the white flag is in effect, TARC waives fees for individuals needing rides to and from shelters. All the passenger needs to do is alert the driver when boarding the ride, and they can ride for free. Our HSD outreach team is out on the streets. They've been out all day. They'll be out this evening, tomorrow, and Saturday, passing out water to anyone that could possibly need that. My team's in the back, so big applause for them. Big thank you for everything you're doing out there in the heat right now. Again, thanks to our outreach partners and friends that make it a little easier for our houseless community to find shelter during this event.
Thank you, John, and thanks to everyone from the Homeless Services Division. Thanks for all of your hard work during this extreme heat weather event, but also all year round. It's greatly appreciated. Before we open it up for questions, I just want to address two other important topics. First, pools, spray pads, and spray grounds. I want to take a minute to remind folks that Metro government, through our Metro Parks, have a lot of other options for people where they can cool off outdoors. We have the Fairdale Pool and the Sun Valley Pool that are open noon to 5 every day for the rest of the week and through the weekend and during the entire summer. Encourage people to go to the Fairdale Pool or to the Sun Valley Pool. And also, Louisville Metro Parks and Recreation operates over 30 spray grounds or splash pads that can keep people cool. All spray grounds and splash pads operate from dawn to dusk. So again, you can call 311. You can look at our website at louisvilleky.gov on the Metro Parks website to find these over 30 locations where you and your family can stay cool. That is critically important. We strongly advise against going in the water in creeks where there are signs that say do not swim, do not play. We know it might look tempting to go in the creek, but it is a much safer option to go to one of our Metro pools or go to one of our splash pads or spray grounds. Those are the places to go. And finally, you heard John talk a little bit about it earlier, but also for those of us who have pets and keeping our pets safe, because we need to remember that they too can be in danger when it's this hot. I know that my dog is certainly he's not a big fan of the heat, and I know that all pets around our city feel the same way. And so Louisville Metro Animal Services asks residents to limit outdoor time for all of our pets. And if you have a pet emergency that you think is a result of this, you can call 911 if you see a pet that's in a distressed vehicle. Again, as you heard earlier from John, we don't want to leave any kids, any elderly. No one should be left in a car. That same thing applies to our pets. So if you see a pet that's in need of a rescue from a car, please call 911 and provide plenty of shade and water to pets that are outdoors. And also leave them at home. When you're doing errands or going outdoors during this extreme heat, there's no need to take your pet with you. So again, in conclusion, we encourage everyone to find a cool spot during this heat wave. To our first responders and outdoor workers, please stay hydrated and take steps to protect yourself. And finally, remember to check on your neighbors, check on your friends and family, particularly those who are elderly or those who are in need. We can all get through this heat wave together, but we have to heed these warnings from professionals. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and let's all be safe. Thank you all very much, and all of us are happy to take any questions that you might have.
I have a question for John, if that's okay.
Sure.
And I know that I think asked this to you already, but July's on track to be the hottest month on record. How is Louisville comparable in that? Where is it?
Yeah, I had my climate guy look at that. Yeah, this may surprise everyone, but we're actually going to come up just about normal, just slightly above normal, 0.02 above normal. The hottest part of the month is going to be at the end of the month, which is this. I know Europe just broke their all-time record high. They had, you got 100-degree water temperature off Key West. But as far as Louisville, shockingly, we've had a lot of storms. And when you have storms, you have cloud cover, and the cloud cover and the rain kind of tempers or the temperatures. And most of the time, we've been running a lot of mid to upper 80s. It may seem hotter, but we have only had, like I said, 11 days over 90 so far.
Is this looking like the hottest point in summer?
Oh, I looked that up because I knew that would come. Yeah, the hottest part of the summer is actually July 16th through July 21st. So I guess we're on the cooling trend. No, I'm just saying that a lot of people don't understand is if it gets really warm in late July, early August, and we don't get rain, what happens in September? Every day we're in the 90s, and we get a lot of early 90s in September, and most people don't think we do.
So is the fire department going to be making a lot of? I mean, when they're called, when 911's called, first responders is going to be the fire department. How's that's going to work?
Sure. I'll let our soon-to-be chief of the fire department, Brian O'Neill, answer that question.
So you're asking about, response, and honestly, for us, response does not change at all. When you call 911, if you have an emergency, your first responders are going to be there in about 4 minutes, no matter what that is. Obviously, it's tough when you're out there in the heat. It's tough with all the gear that our folks wear, but it's even in our SOPs that temporary discomforts are no excuse. You get the job done. So we're here for you no matter what.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. Have a good afternoon.